Hello, I'm Pastor Len Smith, interim minister here at Shepherd's Heart Fellowship in Osceola, Indiana. Today is the last in our series about the 12 apostles. And you're probably wondering, if you've been following this series, Pastor, why didn't you talk about Judas Iscariot? Wasn't he one of the apostles? Well, we're going to talk a little bit later today about the difference between being a disciple and an apostle. And today we're going to talk about the Apostle Paul. And you're probably wondering, no, wait a minute. The Apostle Paul, didn't he say that he was the least of all the apostles? After all, didn't the Apostle Paul persecute the early church? Was the Apostle Paul a disciple of Christ when Christ was living and ministering here on this earth? Of course he wasn't. But what does the word apostle mean? I remember many years ago when I was studying Greek, and I'm not currently studying Greek now, but one of the words that stuck with me was the word apostolos. And apostolos in Greek simply means one who is sent. And so many Christians today believe there are apostles. There are people that God sends for special purposes. Perhaps you might even call a missionary an apostle because they are sent. They may be sent to a major American city, could be a rural area, could be another foreign country. So I hope you understand why I am including Paul as an apostle. Obviously, Paul was the inspired writer of many of the books of the New Testament, and tradition tells us that the Apostle Paul did die in Rome. In fact, I have one account here that he was beheaded traditionally 3 miles outside of the city of Old Rome. And there is today where it believes he was beheaded for the cause of Christ. There is a beautiful basilica there, and it's called St. Paul's outside the walls, because he would have been beheaded outside the existing walls of Rome at that time. And there's also a statue of the apostle there. In his writings, the Apostle Paul talks about the desire to share the gospel in Spain. And some of you who have study Bibles might have, Paul's first missionary journey, second, third, fourth missionary journey. And you're probably saying, wow, where's Spain fit in all this? Many people believe that following his house arrest in Rome, where you have that recorded in the book of Romans, and of course he wrote other books when he was in Rome too, that he would have been released from prison. And Paul does in the New Testament write about his desire to minister in what is today the country of Spain. And so there are places in Spain where it is reputed that he did minister. Most historians are all in agreement that yes, he was beheaded in Rome. Couple dates. Some people think that he lived to be only 61 years old, or perhaps he lived to be 65 years old before he became a martyr for the Christian faith. There is a difference between an apostle and a disciple. And I came across this poem many years ago from a book called 13 Men Who Changed the World. And obviously, where did the 13 come up with? Well, the 12 disciples of Christ, which included Judas Iscariot. And of course, the 13th was the Apostle Paul. And this poem goes like this. A disciple is one who learns. An apostle is one who is sent. A disciple receives a message. An apostle transmits a message. There are many learners. There are few witnesses. We must know before we can tell. We need to tell what we know. Learning is the basis for living. A changed life is the fruit of learning. Jesus needs disciples before he can have apostles. Jesus wants to make apostles out of his disciples. So thank you for tuning into this series on the 12 apostles. We hope that perhaps your curiosity has been aroused to search the scriptures. And we invite you, of course, to attend one of our life application classes here at Shepherd's Heart Fellowship at 9 a.m. Join us for worship at 10 a.m. On Sunday evenings, we have a Bible study that begins from 5 to 5:45. It's an interactive Bible study. People get to have comments. We have a lot of give and take. And then we have a prayer meeting that meets from 6 to 6:30. So thank you for listening to this series, and stay tuned for our next special series.